The Bonneville salt flats were bleached of life, but not of memory. Dr. Aris Thorne came to study its geology, but found something else etched into the endless white. The air felt wrong, thin and brittle, like old parchment. At dusk, the horizon didn't bleed color. It fractured, splitting light into nameless hues, obsidian violet and fever green that made his teeth ache. It began with the salt. The crystalline structures were incorrect. Instead of natural hexagonal lattices, they formed intricate spirals, fractals that shifted when he wasn't looking directly at them. He recorded them as a new mineralogical phenomenon, but the patterns were too deliberate, too intelligent. They were a script in the language of physics. A low, subsonic hum vibrated up through his boots. A bass note played on a string the size of a planet. Sleep became a foreign country. Aris spent nights under the suffocating sky, his instruments buzzing with anomalous readings. Paranoia, cold and sharp, became his constant companion. He felt watched, not by a person, but by the landscape itself. The salt patterns were appearing elsewhere, in the static on his radio, in the condensation trails of jets, in the very grain of his own skin. He was convinced he wasn't discovering a message, but becoming part of it, his own atomic structure being slowly rewritten. He burned his notes, but the formulas were branded on his mind. One night, the hum stopped. The silence was a physical blow. He looked up. The stars were gone. Not clouded over, but erased. The sky was a perfect, depthless black. Then a light bloomed from the salt flats. Not a glare, but a soft, geometric luminescence. The countless spirals across the desert floor connected, forming a colossal glyph that pulsed with cold, non-Euclidean logic. It was a diagram for a reality our senses couldn't process. Aris understood then. This wasn't a landing site. The Earth itself was the vessel, and something ancient and vast within it had briefly opened an eye to the cosmos. He was merely an ant on the surface of its cornea. The rescue team found his abandoned truck a week later. Aris was gone. The only thing in his research tent was a single sheet of paper. On it, he had drawn a perfect, repeating spiral. The line didn't stop at the paper's edge. It continued, carved into the table, across the floor, and up the canvas wall, as if the pen ignored the boundaries of matter. The salt flats were silent, their crystals again perfectly, mundanely hexagonal. But sometimes, when the wind is just right, geologists in the area report their compasses spinning, pointing not north, but down,